Remember the 2000s, the era of flip phones, the screech of dial-up internet, and some of the most boring cars ever made? We're talking about those beige sedans and clunky wagons you wouldn't have given a second glance in your high school parking lot. But what if I told you some of those snoozers were secretly packing enough heat to smoke a supercar? That your grandpa's ride could have left a Porsche choking on its dust at a red light? Alright, today we're digging up 10 of the sneakiest factory stock sleepers from the 2000s. These are the cars that will have you thinking twice before you judge. Let's get into it. Kicking things off, we have a car that was the definition of anonymous. This generation of the Chevy Impala was the average American family car. It was roomy, it was comfortable, and it was about as exciting to look at as a microwave. You saw them everywhere, rentals, company cars, you name it. But then there was the SS model. From the outside, you got some tiny badges and bigger 18-inch wheels. That's it, nothing to see here. But what most people didn't know was that Chevy did the unthinkable. They shoehorned a 5.3-liter V8 under that hood. Yes, you heard me, a V8 in an Impala. We're talking 303 horsepower. The result? This family hauler could hit 60 in about 5.7 seconds, a number that would embarrass plenty of so-called sports cars back in the day. Now, sending all that power to the front wheels meant the steering wheel would try to rip your hands off. Hello, torque steer, but in a straight line, this humble Impala was a menace. The best part is you can find these today for anywhere between $5,000 and $8,000. At first glance, the Infiniti G35 Sedan looks respectable. It's the kind of car your boss drove. It was Infiniti's shot at the BMW 3 Series, but far more low-key. It's a good-looking car, but it's quiet about it. It isn't shouting for attention, but the secret ingredient here was what it shared with its wild cousin. Underneath that clean suit and tie exterior was the same FM platform as the Nissan 350Z, and under the hood, a revised version of the legendary VQ Series V6, pumping out a very serious 306 horsepower. An automatic G35 could launch to 60 in a wild 5.6 seconds. This wasn't just some luxury car with a decent motor. It was a four-door sports car in disguise. With rear-wheel drive and almost perfect balance, the G35 could carve up a corner in a way that just didn't match its looks. It had the soul of a 350Z, but could still pick up the kids from school, and you can pick one up for a steal these days, with prices often ranging from $5,000 to $10,000. If you've never heard of this one, I don't blame you. The Saab 92X Aero was a strange car, often called the Saabaru, because that's exactly what it was. A Subaru WRX wagon playing dress-up in a Swedish suit. See, Saab was owned by GM at the time, and GM had a stake in Subaru, so they cooked up a plan to get Saab a new compact car, fast. They took a WRX wagon, gave it a Saab front end, made the interior a little nicer, and called it a day. From the outside, it just looked like another quirky Saab. You'd expect to see it parked at a Trader Joe's, not lined up at a drag strip, but the Aero model was pure Subaru underneath. It had the same 2.0-liter turbocharged boxer engine, pushing 227 horsepower to all four wheels. But get this, Saab actually made it better. They threw in the quicker steering rack from the legendary WRX STI, making it feel even sharper. It was all the raw, rally-bred fun of a WRX, just wrapped in a more grown-up, luxurious package. Finding one is tough, but they usually sell for between $8,000 and $15,000. Speaking of Subarus, let's talk about the king of dad mobiles. The Forester from this era was for people who loved hiking in sensible shoes. It's tall, it's boxy, it looks like it was designed with a T-square. Its main job was hauling camping gear and golden retrievers. But that little XT on the back changed the whole story. What people didn't know was that the Forester XT was pretty much a tall WRX. It had the same 2.5-liter turbocharged boxer engine, the EJ255, giving this unassuming wagon over 200 horsepower and a whole lot of grunt. Thanks to that all-wheel drive grip, this thing could launch to 60 in as little as 5.3 seconds. Let that sink in. This brick on wheels could dust a Porsche Boxster from the same year. This was the definition of a sleeper. Nobody, and I mean nobody, expects the grocery getter to be this quick, especially for a vehicle you can now find for under $8,000. Mazda in the 2000s gave us the Miata and the RX-8. Fun cars. Their sedans, like the Mazda 6, they were solid, good-looking cars, but nobody was calling them performance machines. Then for just 2 years, Mazda decided to lose its mind and build the Mazda Speed 6. Now if you didn't know what you were looking at, you just see a regular Mazda 6 with a small body kit. It's easy to miss. But this was a beast. Under the hood was a direct injected turbo 4-cylinder pushing out a massive 274 horsepower and 280 pound-feet of torque. To handle all that, they gave it a smart all-wheel drive system that could send half the power to the rear wheels. We're talking 0 to 60 in just 5.4 seconds. That's serious business for a family sedan back then. It's a rally-inspired monster hiding in plain sight, which can be had for about $7,000 to $12,000 today. You know Lexus, smooth, quiet, reliable, the kind of car your dentist drives. The GS was the picture of corporate success, nice, but nothing to get your heart pumping. But in '08, Lexus got sneaky and dropped a monster under the hood of this thing to create the GS 460. No big wings, no loud noises, just Japan's silent answer to the German V8 muscle sedans. The secret was its 4.6 liter V8, the same kind of engine they put in their flagship LS sedan. It was good for 342 horsepower and hooked up to a slick 8-speed automatic. This quiet cruiser could hit 60 in 5.4 seconds flat. Now hardly anyone bought it. They sold only about 1,600 of them because most people wanted the V6. But for those who knew, this was the one. Lexus comfort with enough V8 muscle to leave people very confused. Because they're so rare, prices are all over. But expect to pay around $9,000 to $13,000 for a decent one. Ford brought back the legendary SHO name, but they slapped it on the new Taurus, which was, let's be real, huge. This thing was a boat. It looked like an undercover cop car or something you get stuck with at the rental counter. But that was the whole point. The secret was under the hood, a 3.5 liter twin-turbo EcoBoost V6. And this engine was no joke. It was pushing out a staggering 365 horsepower and 350 pound-feet of torque. To keep it from just spinning its tires into oblivion like that Impala SS, Ford gave it all-wheel drive. The result was a 2-ton behemoth that could rocket to 60 in a crazy 5.2 seconds. That was faster than a V10 Audi S6. It had the power to shock just about everybody, all while looking like it was on its way to a business meeting. Today, this much performance can be had for a bargain, typically between $6,000 and $10,000. By the late 2000s, Pontiac was basically on life support, but they weren't going out quietly. Their last hurrah was the G8, which was really a Holden Commodore shipped over from Australia with a Pontiac badge. While the regular G8 was a fine car, the GXP version was an absolute monster. It looked a little tougher, sure, but it didn't advertise that it was one of the baddest sedans Pontiac ever built. Now here's the crazy part. The top dog GXP model was basically a 4-door Corvette. I'm not kidding. They put the 6.2 liter LS3 V8 from the C6 Vet right under the hood. We're talking 415 horsepower, all going to the rear wheels. This family sedan could hit 60 in a mind-blowing 4.5 seconds and run a 13-second quarter mile. It was a true American muscle car with 4 doors. Of course, Pontiac went under right after it came out, so these cars are super rare now and cost a fortune. Expect to pay anywhere from $25,000 to over $40,000 for a clean GXP. What a way to go out. Audi has always been good at making fast sedans, but this one was a ghost. To the average person, this S6 looks exactly like the diesel A6 that's used as a taxi all over Europe. It's clean, it's professional, it's kind of boring. But here's what people didn't know. Audi owns Lamborghini, and some mad genius in Germany decided to take a V10 from the Lamborghini Gallardo, tweak it a little, and cram it into this business suit of a car. Let me say that again for the people in the back. A Lambo, V10, in a car that looks like a taxi. That 5.2 liter V10 was putting out 435 horsepower through the legendary Quattro all-wheel drive system. This big, heavy luxury sedan could blast to 60 in about 5 seconds flat, screaming that V10 song the whole way, a true supercar in hiding. The price for V10 ownership is surprisingly low, with many examples selling for between $10,000 and $15,000. But be ready for those maintenance bills. So if the S6 was a wolf in sheep's clothing, our number one spot goes to a straight up demon in a dad wagon, the Audi RS6 Avant. This is the sleeper concept taken to its absolute most insane level. I mean, look at it. It's a station wagon. It's made to haul the dog, the kids, and a load of groceries. But under that polite exterior, Audi took that V10 from the S6 and slapped 2 turbos on it. The result? An unbelievable 572 horsepower. 572. That's not just fast for a wagon, that's straight up Ferrari and Lamborghini power. With all-wheel drive clawing at the road, this 2-ton wagon could hit 60 in a neck-snapping 4.5 seconds. Take the limiter off, and you're looking at over 190 miles an hour. In a wagon. This car was never officially sold in North America, so they're incredibly rare to find. But in Europe, they go for around $34,000 to $46,000. This wasn't just a sleeper. This was a supercar killer. The ultimate, you have no idea what you just messed with machine. And that's why it's number one. And there it is. 10 cars from the 2000s that prove you don't need giant wings and a loud paint job to be incredibly fast. From V8 family cars to wagons with Lamborghini engines, these machines are the definition of speak softly and carry a big stick. So what do you think? Did I miss any? Drop your favorite 2000s sleepers down in the comments. And if you enjoyed this one, do me a solid. Hit that like button, subscribe, and ring that notification bell so you don't miss what's next. Thanks for watching.